Hello everyone. In this video we are going to see the configuration of IPv6 BGP routing. So BGP routing is a little bit different than the other routing protocol when it comes to IPv6, because in BGP we distinguish between the actual session setup and the actual NLRI. So the session setup can be either IPv4 or IPv6, and the NLRI can be either IPv4 or IPv6. So, for example, you can exchange an IPv6 route using an IPv4 session and vice versa. So, in this video, we are going to see both configurations. We are going to see the configuration of the exchange of IPv6 routes using an IPv4 session and using an IPv6 session. So we're going to start by configuring the IPv4 session first, because it's a little bit tricky. So it's a little bit, it needs some extra configuration in order to make it work. So let's start by configuring it. So in our configuration, we are going to use this diagram. So it's pretty simple. We have R1, which is NAS 65001, and R2, which is in AS 65002. And the objective of this configuration is to make the loopback of R1 ping the loopback of R2. So the most important thing to do when it's come to configuring IPv6 routing is to enable IPv6 unicast routing. This is true for all routing protocols in Cisco equipment, because IPv6 routing is not enabled by default. Then I'm going to say router BGP, my ISN number, which is the R1 ISN number 65001. I'm going to disable no BGP default IPv4. I'm going to disable the default behavior of exchanging IPv4 route in BGP. So if you don't understand this command, you can skip it. But this command is just telling the router not to exchange IPv4 routes by default. So router BGP 65002, no BGP default IPv4. So don't activate IPv4 route exchange by default. This is what the command say. Now I'm going to configure the parameters of the session setup. So neighbor, and the remote IPv4 address of my neighbor, which is 192.168.12.2, and his remote IS, which is 65002. Same thing I'm going to do in R2. Neighbor 192.168.12.1, and the remote AS, which is 65001. After configuring the actual session properties, I'm going to activate the exchange of the IPv6 route. This is done by entering the address family IPv6 configuration mode and saying neighbor, the remote IPv4 address of the neighbor, and then activate. Same thing in R1. So going to enter the IPv6 address family configuration, and I'm going to activate main neighbor for the exchange of IPv6 NLRI or routes. Now the session should come up. Then I'm going to advertise my actual loopback. So I'm saying network 2001, column 1, column 1, and the mask is 128. Same thing in R2, network 2001, column 2, column 2, 128. Alright. Now if I do show IPv6 BGP IPv6 unicast, you can see that R1 is advertising his own loopback, and he is also getting R2 loopback, but he is not installing it. We do show IPv6 route, we don't see R2 loopback. This is because the actual next hop is not recognized by R1. This format is called IPv4 compatible IPv6 address, and it's not going to work here. It's working in some special cases like 6PE in using MPLS, but here R1 doesn't know how to reach this next hop, so we have to tell it manually. In BGP we do that using what we call a route map. So I'm going to say route map, and the name here I'm going to call it set next hop map, and then I'm going to say set IPv6 next hop and my local IPv6 address, which is 2001 column 12 column 1. Do right, do show, and the same thing I'm going to do in R2. So route map set nh map set IPv6 next hop 2001 column 12 column 2, which is my local IPv6 address. Do show run section BGP. I'm going to apply this route map outbound to my neighbor route map. So I'm going to say neighbor, the IPv4 address and the route map I've just created out. Same thing in R1. Route map, the map I've just created, which is this one, and out. And I need to clear the BGP table in order to get the latest and greatest informations. Do clear BGP IPv6 star soft, just to unicast here, just to soft clear, not a hard clear. Same thing here in the other side, and normally when I do show BGP IPv6 unicast, now it's installing the route. So when I do show IPv6 route, it is installing it. Now I can confirm that by pinging R1 loopback address and sourcing it from my loopback, and the ping is working. So this is the hardest part, which is configuring BGP using IPv4 unicast session. Now let's just finish this video by configuring the easiest one, which is IPv6 using the IPv6 session. So I'm going to remove the process from both sides and start from scratch. I'm going to say router BGP 5002 neighbor, and the IP, this time the IPv6 address of my neighbor, which is the router 1 IPv6 address, and his remote AS neighbor. Okay, it's missing one column here, and address family IPv6. I'm going to activate the exchange of IPv6 address. Same here, router BGP 65001 neighbor 2001 column 12 column 2 remote AS 65002 address family IPv6, and I'm going to activate the exchange of IPv6 routes. Normally it will come up. Now if I say network 2001 column 1 column 1 and the subnet mask 128, same on the other side, network 2001 column 2 column 2 128. Now normally we should see that the route is getting installed. Do show BGP IPv6 unicast, still not getting the so maybe this needs some time. Yes, so now I'm installing the R2 loopback. I can confirm that by pinging, so I'm sourcing it from my loopback. So this is the easiest part, and as you can see it is working. So the most difficult one, as we have said, it is the IPv4 session. So we need to modify the next hop using the route map. So when you do the IPv6 route exchange using an IPv4 session, you need to change the next hop using the route map. So I hope this video was informative for you, and see you in the next videos.